it turns out that this trans actor named Tommy Dorfman decided to leverage his social media clout against a Delta airline employee who was allegedly transphobic. And it really backfired on him terribly, because people are sick of having weapons drawn on them like smartphones. I thought weapons weren't allowed in airports, but when you draw your phone and start recording someone, we all know that the goal of doing that is getting them doxxed, getting them fired from their job, and having news articles written about them by activists. So it didn't work out the way he thought. You know, it wasn't a good gamble.
The worst part of this is that my biggest complaint within this sphere, within the people in the culture war, is, are you operating in good faith? Dude, it was the holidays.
This was 3 days before Christmas.
Airports are a freaking zoo during the holidays. This dude is just trying to do his job and get home to his family, and you're over here, an entitled Hollywood brat, making it about you. There is such a thing as turning the other cheek. They don't understand that. They do not understand that sometimes when somebody does something to you, it's not out of malice. It all depends on what you consider to be an attack. Anyways, the dude wasn't trying to harm you. The dude was just trying to get you to be on your way.
Yeah, and we don't know the context or the backstory of like why they're arguing in the first place. But let's look at the video. It's about 30 seconds long. I think the Delta employee won in the court of public opinion, and he came out looking very professional and level-headed.
Here we go.
Both of you have. And what about when a Delta employee misgenders you intentionally?
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Gotcha.
Both of you have.
Sorry.
Wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also.
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue, I have Port Authority escort you out the building right this moment if you want to play that game with me.
Okay.
Would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
Delta employee, big W, trans actor, Tommy Dorfman, L. And also, I feel like it's an extra insult to the public's intelligence when these actors come out as trans but don't even go to the effort of changing their name to like a feminized version. It's like, yes, Tommy, you're a she, her. You're valid.
He's like, I don't have
the same thing that Dylan Mulvaney did. Yeah, and apparently
Dylan is at least in some cases a unisex name. Tommy is not.
Right. And Ollie London started posting about this person. I wasn't aware that Tommy Dorfman is actually a friend of Dylan Mulvaney. They know each other. All of these people do. I guess he's best described as a Dylan Mulvaney wannabe because he's not nearly as relevant. But Ollie London said that Tommy Dorfman has made a lucrative career since coming out as trans, has massive fashion brand endorsements, including Chanel, Fenty Beauty, Moncler, Coach, Valentino, and Tom Brown. None of the brands appeared to have any brand partnership with the actor until he became trans. He even got invited to the Met Gala in 2022 for the first time. It pays off to be oppressed in this culture, obviously. I mean, that doesn't even need to be said at this point.
That's why people come out and they say, oh, I'm a demisexual. They don't know what that means, but it allows you to enter the umbrella that gives you that sort of status that allows you to get special treatment.
So before,
it also gives you weapons. It also gives you a weapon. Before
coming out as trans, Tommy Dorfman was most known for playing a male character in the Netflix show 13 Reasons Why. The character Ryan Shaver.
Why all this old news today? First of all, we're catching up. Second of all, I didn't know that this was an actor. This was somebody in Hollywood that went on this exchange. This exchange went viral without anyone knowing that this was an actor at first.
Right, yeah. So Alia said the actor, born male, only came out as trans in 2021 as his acting roles had dried up. And since then, his career has skyrocketed with red carpet appearances at the Met Gala, CFDA awards, front row at Chanel fashion shows, dozens of magazine cover appearances, including In Style, and new acting roles. And he's even set to direct his own film. He also has racked up a huge list of Instagram brand deals from Swarovski and Chanel and others. So, yeah, being a terror to society is lucrative. It pays off. But I think that this person is just such an egomaniac that they didn't even realize they were going to turn out as the villain in this story.
No, they don't realize that they're the villain ever.
Yeah.
Like if you're the one bullying someone, if you're like these are the people that talk about the huddled masses and how we need to help the common man.
Right.
This guy that you're bullying is the common man. He's an airport employee. This dude is just trying to get you from point A to point B, you stuck-up buffoon.
Mm-hmm. I also scrolled through Tommy Dorfman's Instagram, and I'm going to be forever scarred after doing that. But he posted a selfie with a t-shirt that read, "God wrote me as a complex female main character that people do not understand." And here's a comment that said, "Let's be real. God wrote you as a narcissistic, attention-seeking, self-obsessed homosexual man, and you will be always and forever." So that's how Tommy Dorfman is going to go down in the history books.
Somebody did
this
point out
person wants to be relevant like a Hunter Schafer would be, right? But
or Dylan Mulvaney.
If you realize that you can't do that without weaponizing your identity, this is what happens.
Yeah. And well, I mean, it's you level, like you increase your spot in the playing field when you give yourself that advantage. And to think that like people in Hollywood wouldn't take advantage of that when everyone in Hollywood is self-interested, that I think that's why virtue signaling from Hollywood in particularly bothers me more than typical virtue signaling bothers me. Virtue signaling from people who are very clearly of the most self-interested people on the planet bothers me even more.
Right. Like, if this video had been from just a no-name, no-platform trans person who was looking to get offended that day, I would still find it incredibly annoying. But the fact that it is a Hollywood actor who is overpaid simply for being trans makes it all the much more annoying. And I think that this person needed to be humbled, and that is what happened.
And I guess that could be used. His response is exactly how you should respond if you're bullied in the workplace by somebody who's trying to get you to lose your job simply for their own clout and because they were pushed into lockers when they were children. Like that's what all of it. Like a lot of it. When I see this stuff, it's the people who were bullied in school who like look. Some people. I actually, we had this discussion on the show one time where I was like, I never saw that stuff when I was a kid. I have no recollection of seeing like the type of bullying that you see in movies and television. But then a lot of people in the comments were like, no, that was absolutely real. I saw it at my school. I didn't experience that. But you know the type of person who never let it go. Okay, so the computer nerds got their retribution when tech became a thing, and now they're all billionaires, and they invested before the .com bust, or they invented an app, and they made something. Look at what Jeff Bezos looks like now compared to what Jeff Bezos looked like when Amazon started, right? They got their revenge. This is the more disturbing type of revenge.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds was big tech.
Yes.
This is and then Revenge of the Art Nerds is situations like this where you're weaponizing your identity and your social media platform to ruin someone's life because they said, "Sir, you're being erratic and condescending right now."
And it's way more vicious because at least when the tech overlords got their revenge, they created something. There is nothing being created that is of value to society right now.
Arguably, like, Facebook wasn't really adding value to society now that we've seen its consequences, but I get your point.
Everybody's meme would disagree because they get to keep in contact with their grandkids and their children, right? So they've at least added something. You know my thoughts on tech anyways. I still think that the internet was the greatest weapon ever created. But the point is like it's improved a lot of people's lives.
We've got a $20 one from Pat the Plumber. Delta is investigating the situation. Eye roll emoji.
And I'm gonna say I don't know if it's I think the fact that he's not a white straight dude will help him.
Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Yeah. The fact that the Delta employee is not white is actually going to work in his favor.
And that is not the Delta employee's fault. This dude did nothing wrong.
But the circumstance remains that in the oppression totem pole, we're not really sure if the white trans actor falls lower than the black male who works for Delta.
I wonder also if it would actually, like, it might actually lead to more repercussions if it wasn't an actor.
Maybe. But I mean, the fact that this got attention in the first place is because of his social media platform that he wanted to weaponize.
Dude, it does not matter. This clip could have gone viral. Like I said,
On TikTok,
I didn't even know this was an actor. Like, this could have gone, this would have gone viral. There is a genre of TikTok and social media that is more famous than any actor now, and that's public freakouts and incidences like this. So I don't think that even matters.
Did you see that other video from the airport that went viral over the holiday where it was like this gay couple that were yelling at the employees because they couldn't bring their dogs on the plane or something?
Yep, I saw that.
They were calling them their dogs. They were calling them our girls, like it's your child or something.
Don't use dog, mom or dad, please.
Then they started fighting with each other. I don't know. The airport meltdown videos just keep getting spicier.
I did forget there is Tommy Lahren, so there is a female Tommy.
With an I, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Different spelled differently.
There's Tom Holland.
I see this type of stuff, and I actually think that the guy being an actor works to his disadvantage, because I think if it was what they consider just a lowly trans person who's not of celebrity status, it would have helped them gain more traction with it. But other people are gonna be like, no, it's just a spoiled celebrity who happens to be trans.
Right. Like, if we didn't live in such a schizophrenic culture, this would just look like, extremely privileged white male from Hollywood is victimizing a working class person.
It's funny because, look, Hollywood is as much as they pretend like they're not, and they have the gall to pretend like they're not, they're self-aware enough to create movies and televisions in the past that would show actors as the emotionally stunted babies that freak out on people. So they understand the culture. They're not oblivious to how they are. Right.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know where
the exaggerated bullying themes that are in a lot of Hollywood stories, I do think that that's just the way that they're processing the fact that they were nerds. And I never, like you, I never saw any of that in real life. But that's like the first iteration of victimhood mentality that came from Hollywood. I mean, who's the annoying author who wrote it?
Stephen King.
Stephen King. The bullies in his stories, the child bullies, are like psychopathic villains. Yeah. And it's not true to life, but he portrays it that way because he still hasn't moved past all of that from his childhood. I
mean, there's a reason why they do that, not for dramatic effect, and because writing a normal bully isn't always necessarily super interesting.
Yeah.
You'd have to be a better writer to do that, which is what I always find funny. I was actually talking about this recently with somebody about how, like look, the reason why they tell such over-the-top stories is because it takes good writers to be able to eloquently tell stories of everyday life. To most people, that's just not very interesting. Right? You can do that if it's a character study or something like that, but there still has to be a certain amount of drama. But over the top drama, first of all, this is something that they would never touch. Hollywood will never satirize this, ever. It's never going to happen. They won't be willing to.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like an airport version of Lady Ballers then from Daily Wire.
What would it be called? The Passenger.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just that I couldn't believe that was an actor, but at the same time, I can absolutely believe that it's an actor. But do we watch the Dylan Mulvaney clip?
Oh, thank you. In case you're wondering, Tommy Dorfman is in fact friends with Dylan Mulvaney. Birds of a feather stick together.
Let's check it out here. Here we go.
On this specific bag, they were like, that's a bag that you put your Subway shoes in or something.
Oh my god.
And like it got eaten alive on TikTok, and I had just gotten it for my birthday. An episode comes out where they shit on this specific bag, and I was so embarrassed. And then I was like, you know what? The people shitting on it were like these like billionaires, basically.
Yeah, they were like,
And
no billionaire
no,
would wear this
a
bag.
year ago, I couldn't afford my rent, let alone a bag like this.
No!
And this was like my big fun purchase.
Oh.
And so I was like, I love
Dylan,
it.
you better wear that bag.
On this specific
Girl, you
bag,
better
they
wear
were
that bag. Look, when I watch this, I just think, yeah, this is really what they think of women. This is how lowly they regard women.
Well,
that they think we sit around talking about our purses for hours on end.
Any women in the chat can confirm yes or no. I'm gonna need an answer. It is also fair to say that just like how Stephen King portrays his bullies, what they're portraying is a fictionalized, hyper unrealistic movie version.
They all think that
of
they're
women.
Elle Woods.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess in a lot of ways, that's the type of world we live in now, where everything. Think about how much of your life now is actually revolves around actually interacting with real people in the real world. But when all you're seeing is a crazy algorithm that's fed to you, and all you get to see is people talking about shifting into different realities, you forget that what you're looking at is the minority of the population, and the rest of us are just trying to go to work and do our jobs. And that not everyone like that. Not to mention, it is inherent to being on social media that you play up what you're doing. Most of the time, it's a bit of a character, because you cannot usually sell yourself on being just an everyday average dude. You either have some type of specialty area that you talk about, or you put on a more extravagant version of yourself. As Vince McMahon would always say, the best characters in pro wrestling are just a version of yourself turned up to 11.
This actor realized that he couldn't get the level of success he wanted without playing the character of an exaggerated, hyper-feminine Elle Woods.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.